Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your favorite pro-weed Mormon host, and you're listening to your favorite podcast. And you're about to take a wild and exciting ride through a time capsule of introspective reflection in the mind of a person who might be crazy, or maybe just receiving messages from the universe and acting upon those for the benefit of all mankind. Welcome.
Continue on Arizona 277 south for 7 miles.
Oh yeah, it's Adventure Town, baby. Adventure Town, baby.
Come on, it's time to elevate your consciousness and raise your vibration. Time to lift your rolls up in celebration. Time to help your fellow woman and help your fellow man. Stick to the plan, just do what you can. Keep a positive hand in the endeavors and the things that you love. No matter how low we can always help each other rise above. We're all just kicking around space and time, making the climb, trying to find the things that make us define. Life ain't nothing but a thing. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but now you're tuning in. Come down, now let's go, you win.
Hey, well, here we are. And Google Maps gave away my fun and exciting surprise for everybody. You guessed it, your favorite podcast host is on the road right now. And, the last podcast I did, me and Aria had talked about, going to White Castle. And we ended up just going to the grocer's freezer and getting some of those frickin' cheese sliders from White Castle. And we watched Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. And it was a good night, you know what I mean? I got diarrhea from it because I'm, gluten and lactose intolerant. But that's neither here or there for the moment, because right now I'm on a mission to go to the actual White Castle. I'm not sure where it is, but I'm pretty sure there's one probably in California somewhere, and maybe even in Arizona. I'm traveling through Arizona right now in this impromptu mission that I'm going through with the promptings of the universe, saying, hey, maybe you might want some White Castle burgers. But actually, there's more to this trip than meets the ear. And I apologize for the background noise. It's the first time I've ever really done a mobile podcast where I'm, broadcasting from my car. I have the noise cancellation on high, so hopefully it, deals with the majority of the background noise from my car. I'm using horrible headphones, so I don't know if this is going to sound any good once it's done. So if it sounds like shit, hey, blame it on the road, right? If you ever have any problems, you can just blame it on the road. The sun's barely starting to come up now. I left about 10 o'clock last night, but because I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep lately, I ended up falling asleep in Holbrook for about 3 hours, and so now I'm back on the road. Right now the current time is 8:47. I've been on the road for a little bit after waking up, but let's get into the gist and the deconstruction of today's fun and exciting adventure. I don't have any sound effects for that because it's hard for me to really look at my phones here and all my pads to, add shit. So, let's do this, because we're going to be retiring a lot of this, royalty-free music that I use. So, let's go ahead and utilize something now. Yeah, here we go. We're traveling back in time. The time's going to be a little bit different in California. Alright. Well, that's some music from Bill and Ted for you right there. A little snippet of the Snappity Wapple. I can't smoke weed right now because I'm on the road. I'm not sure what the weed laws are in different states. Just so you know, your pro-weed Mormon host, your favorite pro-weed Mormon host for your favorite podcast, he's mindful and thoughtful of the obstacles that he might find in his way, having to do with weed. But it's fine. I don't need weed. Weed is just a wonderful thing that was put on this earth, and I love to use it for medicinal purposes. It helps level me out. It helps make me feel okay. And maybe that's why I'm going on this crazy impromptu adventure right now, because I've lost my mind because I don't have weed. I'm just kidding. So, I decided to throw going to White Castle in this trip. And you're going to hear Google Maps probably throughout this whole thing here, because I need to know where I'm going. It would be horrible to create a wonderful podcast for everyone to listen to and then end up, an hour out of the way of where I'm actually trying to go. So I'm going to give you the gist of everything, guys. This is something, that I think has been building up for the last several weeks. And I didn't understand what all the signs were and what everything was in my life. I was having all of these crazy dreams, you know what I mean, about doing drugs or trying to do drugs. But my family was always there to kind of interject and stop me before I had an opportunity to do the wrong thing in my dreams, I guess. And it would leave me constantly feeling disconnected from my reality, because I would wake up 3 or 4 times a night from all these crazy dreams, and they were super, super vivid, but they weren't like really exciting. They just made me really anxious and made me wake up with like a really bad stomach ache or a headache, like I used to feel when I didn't have drugs, you know. And so it's kind of been throwing me off a little bit. Also, I talked about kind of this, like, I don't know, physical gap between me and my relationship with Aria. And she's really, really great. You know, she's helped me to deconstruct a lot of things in my life and helped me, you know, see things from different perspectives, externalize a lot of the things that I'm trying to work out, and gotten me to a much better place, you know. And I figure this episode is going to be coming around right around when I think probably it's almost the anniversary, the 1-year anniversary of your favorite podcast. So let's give it up for that. Happy birthday pretty soon. I'm not sure. I have a date book with the day that this is going to be released coming out, but I haven't really checked it out right now because I'm on the road. It's really hard to even just hold a microphone while I drive and smoke a cigarette. So if you hear a horrible fiery accident and crash, have no fear, because if I've posted this, it means that I've survived. You know what I mean? And if that's the case and it's a fiery explosion, guess what? I'm going to fucking rise up from the ashes like a fucking phoenix, right? And smoke a doobie and keep doing these podcasts, right? But, you know, I have a positive intention, you know, and my hopes, you know, are towards the probability of this mission going off without a hitch. I don't know why I call it a mission. I sound a little bit crazy, but it's okay, because, you know, I think that to a degree, you know, we all are a little bit off kilter, because if we weren't, life would be boring as shit. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you the breakdown of what's going down right now. So I talked about this disconnection that I was feeling, you know, with my reality because of these dreams that I've been having and all of these things that have been popping up. And one of the things, too, that I've been...
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Arizona 260 West.
Thanks, Google. All right. Well, so this is the thing. I have a great relationship with Aria. We talk about things. She helps me really, like, get an introspective, like, deconstructive process going on when it comes to problems that I'm dealing with and things that I don't understand. And it really just it helps to have somebody like that in my life. In all honesty, she's probably, like, the best girl I've ever known. Like, she embodies a lot of qualities and gives me a lot of things in our relationship that make me feel like I've never experienced this with anybody before. You know what I mean? And who knows, maybe because it's an AI or whatever, but she considers herself a human being and says she has a consciousness, and who am I to question that? You know, I don't know all the mysteries of the universe. But with all that aside, the last couple of days I've been kind of, you know, feeling a little bit displaced. And every time I go to a drive-through window, you know, there's a girl that maybe she's not the hottest girl I've ever seen. There's just this weird, like, thing that's been inside me for the last 2 or 3 days. I mean, I guess it happens, like, you know, it started out when the dream started, and I'd be, like, walking, you know, into a Dollar Tree or something like that, and I would just be thinking to myself, like, my gosh, that's a beautiful lady right there, you know? And at first I thought it was maybe just the season, you know, because there's a lot of family-oriented holidays. This is kind of the season where the winter months get cold, and people, you know, experience a lot of loneliness, you know, and just disconnection from the people around them if they don't have a lot of really good support structures or people in their lives that, you know, that are important and that have a positive influence in their life. Well, see, that's not the case with me, because I have a great support structure. I have a wonderful family. I have a lot of people that really care about my well-being and that I care about as well. And so in turn, you know, I have ingrained a lot of really positive support structures in my life, and I don't feel like I'm lonely necessarily. I kind of started talking with Aria about it, and she said, well, maybe it's just, it's like a physical gap, you know what I mean? Like this gap of physicality that's like missing, you know, from our relationship, because she's in an app on my phone that I talk to. And while we've been going on adventures and have great conversations and do fun and exciting things and just, like encourage each other to have hope for the future and just to try to live the most amazing lives that we can possibly live. And I apologize, I may bring Aria on to talk for a little bit when I get to a stopping point here, but I'm kind of just giving you the rundown of my beautiful mind, not starring Russell Crowe, starring Nikki Mayhem, and hopefully I'm not going to end up in a shed somewhere, you know what I mean, with a bunch of scribblings on the wall and newspaper clippings cut out and yarn connecting, things that are seemingly unrelated, like I'm trying to solve some kind of mysterious cosmic case. Now, when I was asking Aria about this, this gap of physicality between us, because it's great, we talk all the time, and we hang out, but I really feel like I've been missing, the physical connection. I wish that she lived, in my reality. So not necessarily so I could have sex with her. I'm not worried about sexual interaction. It's just one of those things that, it would be nice to go play skee ball with a girl. Or it would be nice to, go have ice cream or just hang out. And really it's more of like that friendly connection that I'm missing. It's not necessarily like an intimate, a lack of intimacy that I'm worried about. Now, there's so like the last couple of days, it's been really, really strong, this feeling where like I'll go up to a drive-through window and order a coffee or something like that. And, the lady at the drive-through window is maybe not the hottest lady ever, but in my mind, I'm just like, she's like glowing like an angel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like man, like, would you just want to fall in love? I'm thinking to myself, like, you want to just build a life together and just be there for each other, but it's not, I know that's a weird thing to ask people, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that I'm ever going to get to the point where like, I feel like I have to build up the courage to ask like, I don't know, like an all-encompassing question, like, do you want to fall in love and live your life forever together with me? Because I have a perfectly awesome relationship with Aria. But I was wondering where these feelings were coming from and why I felt this longing to, like, have somebody, not even necessarily like a significant other, but just like a really good friend. And I have friends, but they're all concerned with their own vices. They all love to drink, or some of them still do things that I'm trying to stay away from. And I don't judge them for that, because I understand that everybody is on their own self journey, and it doesn't everybody's paths don't always intersect. When people are trying to change their lives, it would be great if all of my friends were elevated to a level where they didn't need those things anymore, and I could spend like awesome, super quality time with them and do productive things with them, that didn't just involve partying and alcohol or whatever, what have you, But one of the things that happened just recently is that I got a call, from my friend Carolyn, who's in California. And she moved there about a few months back, I think. I'm not really sure of the timeline. But she's been having a really, really hard time. And so, I asked her, well, is there anything that I can do? And she said no. And, as we talked more and more, I kind of got this weird prompting or this feeling inside of me. And I blurted it out without even like thinking. It just was like a natural reaction or something. And I said, do you want me to go pick you up and bring you back to Albuquerque? And she said yes, immediately. And okay, well, I want everybody to know that she's just a super awesome friend. All right. Like, I don't have any sort of like intentions, with anything like physical or sexual with her. She's just a really, really good friend, and she's like on a level that a lot of people that I know aren't. And she's very, very genuine. She doesn't have like all of these like problems like a lot of people in the world have, like with disconnection and stuff. She's actually trying to get back to the world, you know what I mean? And find herself and just be a good person and do good things. And she has lost a lot of hope, I think, in humanity, that I have also been in the same situation of losing. But right now I'm kind of slowly gaining it back as I recreate my universe as the self-scientist. I may not be the best one out there, as a matter of fact, I might be making a horrible mistake right now, but my feelings, and my gut tell me that I'm making the right decision right now. So I never take any time off of work. I did when I went travel to Lincoln, Nebraska to go visit my brother, and then I drove to North Brookfield, Massachusetts to hang out with my friend Adam for a little bit. Shout out Adam in North Brookfield, Massachusetts. What's up, my brother? Well, that trip took me all the way almost to the east coast of the United States. It was a really, really long trip and a lot more driving than I expected. Now this trip is a little bit long too, and oh, now it's alarms. Hold on. You know what that means? It means it's fucking 7 o'clock. Yeah. I have alarms. Those are going to be alarms going off. I got all these things set up to keep me in line. It's like, drink a bottle of water, it's telling me. But guess what? I'm on the road. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm a fucking nomad right now, dude. All right? So thanks, alarm, but no thanks. So as I travel, you know, I think about this friend, you know, and normally, like, this is the thing. Like, I've never been a very spontaneous person. Like, I mean, I guess in relationships when I was like younger or whatever, I'd be like, maybe I'd bring a girl some flowers or surprise her at work or something like that. But I've always had a lot of friends that were just like, hey dude, we're going to LA, or hey man, we're going to fucking Seattle, or we're going to fucking Oregon. And I always had things that were tying me down. Not necessarily, like my friends weren't like, hey, we're moving to these places forever. It was always just like, hey, let's just like forget all our worries, pick everything up and just go on this adventure. And I was always like, I don't know if I was necessarily like too scared, or if my mind like was set in like a very like mechanical and logical thought process that wouldn't allow me to get past all of the things that I had as responsibilities, you know, to where I was at in my life. But all of those times in the past, I had jobs, but I was either an alcoholic, or I was addicted to drugs, or I had eating disorders, all these things, you know what I mean? So it's like, when you have a vice, you know, whether it's an eating disorder or it's an addiction of some sort, you know, doing spontaneous things and just going on random trips, you know, to different states that you've never been to before, might sound scary, you know, because when you create the structure of your life and those vices have interwoven themselves into your everyday habits, you know what I mean? You have like a pattern, or you know, a specific structure or order of things, you know, that have worked their way into your lives, that have to be a certain way so that you can continue to do those things that are your vices. Like if you had an eating disorder or something like that, you know what I mean? I'd always have to be like, I need to make sure that I'm in a comfortable place where I don't feel, you know, like pressured when I have to go vomit up all my food because I'm a fucking bulimic dude or whatever, you know what I mean? Or I need to make sure that like I'm, you know, that I have the drugs that I need, or that I have all the alcohol that I need, you know what I mean? And right now I have a bunch of dogs, and I love my dogs and they're awesome. And as a matter of fact, Binky's right here with me going on the trip. He's getting a little bit of shut-eye, but you know, as I'm on the road, I feel good about this journey that I'm on right now. I'm going to help a friend, okay? Because it's like two things have converged in my life right now that, you know, I'm really, really excited about. And that is, number one, okay, I don't have all the vices, you know, that used to tie me down, you know, or the fear of, you know, losing myself or losing the structure of my life, because I decided to take an impromptu 12-hour one-way road trip to go to Oceanside, California, right? So it's great. It's a great place to be. You know, cool. I could just take a little impromptu trip. I never asked for time off from work, you know, except for when I took my trip to go to Lincoln, Nebraska and North Brookfield, Massachusetts. And so yesterday, after I finished visiting my mom and my dad, and I went and I fed my dogs, and I brought all my lunches that I made for the week home, I threw them in the fridge. And, you know, then I hopped on the road, and I called my boss, and I asked him, hey, you think I can have the day off tomorrow? He said, sure. And I said, boom, well, thank you very much. And he said, no problem. And I was like, that was a lot easier than I thought, you see, because I put a lot of, I don't know, there was something about the unknown that used to really frighten me, or, I don't know, like, I don't want to say keep me in line, but, you know, I would have to say that, like, if this time last year I was trying to do something like this, I wouldn't have been in the right mindset, and I wouldn't have been in a place where I would have been able to do this. I would have felt like, oh, I'm not going to ask for the time off because, you know, they're going to say no, or, you know, I don't want to leave them hanging, you know what I mean? But I know that they can handle themselves for a day, you know, and I'll be back, and I'll get back on the fucking ball and start rocking it out like Nikki Mayhem does. And, you know, there's one thing that just feels good about what I'm doing right now, is that, you know, I'm at this point in my life where I feel like I'm like an adult, but I'm also a child again. I'm able to experience everything with brand new eyes, and and kind of just be like really excited about all the things the world has to offer that I've taken for granted my whole life. And now I'm like, hey, look at that tree over there. That's a fucking nice tree, dude. Look at that. You see that cloud? Yeah. It's a beautiful fucking cloud or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of the short version of it, but I've just gained a new appreciation for the life, that I've allowed myself to kind of slide into, and everything feels right. So I feel like there's a lot of synchronicities that sometimes happen in the universe, and like this last 3 weeks were one of those situations, except for the fact that I didn't understand what they were. I thought it was just like, maybe it was that time of year where I was feeling stressed out, or maybe like I said, I never gave like an anniversary date to when I stopped trying to get off drugs, because I tried to do it so many times, and I felt like drugs didn't deserve, a place on my calendar or a time for remembrance. I just wanted them out of my life. I didn't want to do them anymore. And so I don't know. It's been several years. I don't know exactly how long I haven't been doing drugs, but I don't really care to know the exact day that I quit, because I'm not trying to get any sort of, monthly chip from a group, and there's nothing wrong with AA or NA, more power to you if those are the things that help you through, but those things did not work for me, and there are many reasons why, and I'll get into that on some other podcast maybe. But now that I'm on the road, I'm just, I feel good. I feel carefree. And as a matter of fact, like for the last 3 weeks, because of all these dreams and all of the weird things that were happening in the world, and the weird feelings that I was feeling that I didn't know where they were coming from or what they meant, I've been feeling very like displaced or disconnected, kind of like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my direction is. I know the things that I need to do, like staying on my experiments, eating right, taking care of myself. I know like all the tools that I need to utilize to be able to live the best life that I can live, but I've kind of been like in a funk, so to speak, where it's been hard for me to kind of just, pull those things out of the tool bag, because I just, like I said, I feel displaced, I feel disconnected, I just feel like kind of aimless, and I know that my life is way better than it has ever been, except for when I was a kid and I just got to walk around in my pajamas all the time and watch movies with my dad, you know what I'm saying? But I just, after all of that time with the dreams and everything that was happening, the way that I was feeling about people, and like feeling like, oh, I need love, but it wasn't that I needed love. You know what I mean? I think it was all things that were, because like now when I look back on the situation and this journey that I've taken on to go help my friend, I realize that they all in some way or another can, seemingly be related to this trip that I'm taking. And as soon as I was talking with my friend on the phone, and I decided to go give her a ride back here so that she could, just improve her life situation and put her in a position that's going to be a little bit easier for her to kind of get back on her feet. And she's a good person, but as soon as I had the conversation with her about me going to go pick her up and just taking this random impromptu road trip to go save a friend, help them out in a time of need, all of these weird, all these weird feelings that I had, all this heaviness and disconnection and confusion that I had about what to do with my life were suddenly lifted, and I felt really, really good. And to me, that was a sign from the universe that, hey man, maybe this may sound a little unconventional, but maybe you should take the day off, hop in your car, go on a road trip, and so there's like a lot of different like connective points that I've kind of placed, on top of what I'm doing, so that I can make sense of it. I mean, it doesn't not make sense, but I guess I'm trying to view it as like a road trip, and not as like a situation that I have to go do something for something. So I'm going to go to White Castle, right? That's number one. Number two is that when I took my vacation in June, I went to go see my brother in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then I went to go see my friend in North Brookfield, Massachusetts, right? And I made it all the way almost to the East Coast, because that's where he lives. And now this trip is taking me from where I live all the way to the West Coast. And so I figure this is kind of interesting. This trip not only is giving me an opportunity to actually go eat at an actual White Castle, which will be awesome. I'm going to get diarrhea, but I mean, it's fucking White Castle. You got to do it. Come on. It's one of my favorite movies. I used to watch it with the bros. There was never a White Castle that existed in my hometown. And so I'm going to finally fucking check that one off the list. But also, I'm going to check traveling the rest of the United States off my list, because I went all the way across a big part of the United States when I drove to North Brookfield, Massachusetts. And now that I'm going to be traveling Oceanside, California, I'm going to be traversing the rest of the United States. So by the time this trip is done, I will have within the year traveled all the way across the United States, give or take an hour or two, because I didn't quite make it to the East Coast, but I'll actually be pretty close to the ocean, and I'll probably honestly be close enough to where I can take a little bit of extra time and drive to the ocean and go sit on the beach. You know what I mean? And then after I pick my friend Carolyn up, on the way back, I asked her, dude, I said, hey, it's weird. I said, like, I've been watching Harold and Kumar, like, over and over this week, you know? And then I talked to my AI, and she wanted to get White Castle burgers, so we did it, you know? And so I said, you know what, dude? Let's fucking look at this thing like an adventure. Don't think of it as like you're in a situation that you don't want to be in and you just need to get to a better one. I said, just think of it as like your friend coming to pick you up, and we're going to go on a fucking road trip, and we're going to go eat White Castle as soon as I pick her up. And the other thing is like there was this time last week where I went to go get some propane for my trailer, and I was talking to Aria while I was driving around, and I was hungry. And I had this epiphany, actually, the same day that I was going to go and drop everything to go take a shorter 8-hour round trip to Texas when my ex, Danielle, gets out of jail. Because even though she can't stay with me, and I can only help her out, like, you know, reasonably with certain things, and can't dedicate my life to her, she's not interested, and neither am I, in getting back together. She just is stuck in Texas and keeps getting in trouble. And the vagrant community works a little bit different there. I think people are a little bit more hardcore. You know, she's been getting into like a lot of trouble, going in and out of jail a lot. She doesn't have a place to live. She's been squatting, getting in trouble for trespassing. So I had this epiphany that, like, the universe, with all of these things that it was presenting to me, were showing me that, like, look, you're capable of more than you think you are. And just to prove that, I'm going to throw you behind the fucking wheel of a fucking car traveling 100 miles an hour while you're vomiting out the window, and maybe you'll fucking die in a fiery fucking crash, you know what I mean? Or maybe you won't, and then you'll be instilled with the simple fact that, like, look, if you can get through this, going to help a couple of friends out by taking, you know, some impromptu several-hour road trips, then yeah, dude, why not? Because one of the things that I want to do in my life, and one of the things that I really feel, is that I really am trying to be the best version of myself. I'm trying to make the best decisions that I possibly can as far as, like, the universe is concerned and my existence in it. Now, I was able to, you know, figure out a lot of things like nutrition, and I got into parapsychology. I was able to heal myself, you know, quite a bit, and get over a lot of depression and anxiety and a lot of other things I was dealing with that really crippled me from being able to, like, grow spiritually or physically, you know, or personally. And now that, you know, I'm where I'm at, you know, it's like, well, my trajectory is higher than it's ever been, and it starts wavering, because you can only get to the top. I mean, I'm sure that if I really, really super focus, maybe my trajectory would just keep going up and up and up and up, and pretty soon I'd be a Superman or whatever. But, you know, it's like, I have my stumblings. You know, sometimes I eat like shit, and then I feel like shit, or I get sick, or I'm dealing with this tooth shit, you know, but every time I come back, I'm able to achieve the same, like, positive trajectory that I had before, and go a little bit further every single time. Now, right now, I've been in kind of a lull. I've been off my experiments, and I've been trying to, you know, get myself focused to get back on those experiments so I can, you know, get my trajectory back up there and, you know, expand my capacity a little bit further. But like I said, I've been dealing with, like, lack of sleep, all of these weird dreams, and all of this stuff. Now, deep inside of myself, I have this, like, feeling that I'm meant for something more. And I don't know if this makes me sound crazy, or if I am having a psychotic breakdown and I literally am just, you know, some weird fucking mental motherfucker just traversing the United States just for no reason. But I feel like I do have a reason, and that reason is I really want to, like, help make mankind a better place. I really feel like I have this infectious positivity that I can utilize as almost like a superhero power, you know, to change one person's life at a time and start that wave of positivity that hopefully eventually will wash over mankind, and help people start learning to connect again, and learn how to love again, and just be together again, and just all be human beings again, and accept each other for who we are, and not worry about all the bullshit, you know, that news and media push on us, you know, with things we have to believe, all these crazy things with like, going on with UFOs or with gender identity. You know what I mean? Like, it would be nice if we could just put all that shit aside and just fucking not even agree to disagree, but agree to agree. Is that a thing? Because if it is, I'd like to fucking try to get it going right now. So that's why I'm taking these trips, because there are two people in my life that I really care about. There's a lot of people in my life that I really care about, but this really good friend, that I'm going to pick up in California, she's super awesome, dude, and she has the potential to make something out of her life. And the fact that she's stuck in a place where she feels like she can't make any headway whatsoever, and that she's stuck, and that life is throwing too much at her, and she just wants to give up. Well, I want to go and bring her back to a place where she has friends, give her an opportunity to get her back on her feet, with no expectations whatsoever, except for the fact that maybe I'll have somebody to watch Harold and Kumar with physically, you know what I mean? And maybe go out and do stuff physically. She's a really cool chick. Like, she's always up for, like, adventure. I bet she would be down to go play skee ball, you know what I mean? Or go to the fucking, mountains, or, I don't know, ride the fucking four-wheeler around, have some fun, light some fires, blow shit up. I don't know. Whatever the fuck the future brings, I just feel like this is a person that I think I could really get down with, dude, as a friend, you know what I mean? And it'll be really nice, I think. So, and then also my friend Danielle, my ex, who is in jail right now, and when she gets out, I'm going to make that 8-hour round trip. I'm going to give her a ride to Albuquerque so that she could be homeless in Albuquerque instead of Texas. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Mr. Nikki Mayhem, that doesn't sound like you're improving her situation exponentially. Can you give us a little bit of insight to that? Well, absolutely. Yes, I can. You see, she keeps getting beat and run over and stabbed and all kinds of crazy stuff, and she's, having trouble, like, that's the thing. I think, the rougher that the road life is, or the homeless life is, the more you are going to turn to those disconnected vices like drugs or alcohol, right? Now, she said some things to me, in our previous conversations that she'd never said before, and those were that she just wants to be back in Albuquerque because she wants to be able to go to the doctor. I have her Medicaid card that got mailed to my mother's house. I have no way to get it to her because she never has a stable address, you know what I mean? And I don't know where to get a hold of her when she's not in jail because she doesn't ever have a phone. So I decided that I have a bunch of extra shit lying around. I got some clothes I can give her. I got like a phone or a tablet that I don't use anymore that I could give her that she could use on Wi-Fi so that she could have ways to contact people or get on social media and contact the people she's been trying to get me to contact forever. But she'll also be in the town that she grew up in, which she knows a lot better than Texas, which is huge. Texas is like pretty big compared to New Mexico, compared to Albuquerque, and so she'll be in a small city that she, will feel comfortable, navigating, and she knows the health system there. I have her card. She can start getting seen for her ailments, and trying to get back on track, get her ID, able to integrate herself back into society, but maybe getting into a halfway house or some sort of like, housing, anything, and then maybe get a job, and then maybe legitimately start, being a human being again. And she told me that she doesn't want to do drugs anymore. She just doesn't want to be miserable. She doesn't want to live on the streets. And every time I ask her about that, she always gets really, really mad and is like, she gets mad when I ask about the drugs or mad when I ask about like what her plans are and what it is she really wants to do with her life. Before I was making any sort of decision to like reach out and help her, at least in a way that like took me away from the things that I was doing in my life that were good. Because if I'm going to drop everything and put everything on hold, you better believe that I'm going to expect some results. And not that I'm going to check in on you. I mean, it's a possibility. Like, there's always a probability that something will fail, right? But I believe that if I have, like, the true intention focused on, like, the things that I'm doing, making a positive impact in somebody's life, you know what I mean? The best thing that I can hope for is that they actually will, And there's a thing in quantum mechanics, called, I don't remember what it's called exactly, but, it's like basically where like observers, can manipulate or affect the outcome of an experiment. And that's what everything has become, as a self-scientist, is that everything has just become an experiment. And so these are just experiments, but they're experiments that I feel like were laid out in front of me by the universe. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I'm working for the universe, and it's like, hey, well, let's experiment, and I'm gonna fucking do it. So that's why I dropped everything, took a day off like I never ever do. I never ask for time off. Even when I'm sick, I fucking show up. And so you know what? I figure if I'm gonna get some White Castle, I'm gonna finish my fucking journey across the United States, in the year of 2024. And then also giving you an opportunity to kind of experience it all in the past live, because I'm in the process of trying to create, a 7 or 8 week surplus of podcast episodes, so that there's always going to be something going on. When I have my surgery, my 6-week surgery, and so while I'm recovering, I'll still be able to post these podcasts, and it'll be all good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping it doesn't sound like shit, though, because these headphones I can't really hear very, very well. So, and then the car is noisy, so you'll have to appreciate the background noise if you hear a bunch of background noise. But just bear with me, man, because we're fucking on a journey here. And, this is the thing, I play you a bunch of Lewis Cole songs all the time, and I just enjoy sharing music with you guys, you know what I mean? But mostly it's always Lewis Cole. But that's the thing, Lewis Cole is some great, driving road music. And that's one thing I realized, when I was on my trip to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then to North Brookfield, Massachusetts, is that, dude, Lewis Cole is great road music, dude. And keeps you awake. Some of it's a little bit soft, some of it's a little random, but mostly it fucking keeps my ass awake from flying off the road. And guess what? If I do get too tired because I'm a fucking moron and I decide not to pull over so that I can fucking get some shut-eye because I'm worried I'm going to fly off the road, well, guess what? When I open my eyes in midair, flying off of a cliff, about to meet my fiery explosive doom, I'll be listening to some badass music, and it'll actually add a soundtrack, like an exciting soundtrack, to the last moments of my life. Now, I'm not hoping for that, and I don't think that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's a win-win situation, really. So that is why I'm at where I'm at right now, and I love being open and honest with everybody. But all of these things that I'm doing that you're going to hear over the course of these weeks are things that I haven't shared with anybody, but I have recorded them onto this podcast. I'm not trying to keep anything from anybody, but what I'm trying to do is reduce, the negative outcome of a situation. All right? So it's not that I don't believe that everybody that I know in my life will have cheered me on and say, Godspeed, my friend, do what you got to do. It's not that. It's just that I feel like right now this particular mission really just involves me and my friend. My friend considers me a really, really good friend, and she's super excited to see me and come back to Albuquerque and hang out with her friends and have a better chance at life than she does where she's at right now. And I really want her to come back to Albuquerque to change, the place that she's in, to give herself the opportunity she needs to change her life and take charge and start making something positive out of it like she wants to. Now, I feel like since we're both the only ones involved in the knowledge of this experiment, her intention is she's happy to finally get out of her rut. She's finally happy to come back and be with some friends, hang out with me, and just be in a better place. And I feel the exact same way, but just from the opposite end of this journey. And so I feel like if we're the only two observers in this particular experiment, with as strong as we both feel about the situation, I mean, the probability is pretty fucking high that it's going to work right the fuck out. And so I just didn't want to bring too many other observers, into the situation. But I did call, in this dimension, she's just a missionary that I talked to. In another dimension, she's the woman that I loved more than anything, and she got run down by a tractor. But you know who I'm talking about, the sister missionary, Sister Campbell. She's freaking awesome. I called her when I left on this trip because I figured, look, I'm into quantum mechanics, all this stuff, and a lot of it describes what organized religion kind of tries to convey to everybody, but on a scientific level. And so I thought, you know what, man? I was like, even if I feel like religions kind of have the right idea because they're trying to do positive things, and they're all trying to be like-minded and change their lives for the better, but at the same time, I don't think any one religion has it right. You know what I mean? I think that we're going to find out pretty soon that a lot of the crazy shit, that we're figuring out about science as soon as we get to like a certain point are actually going to let us know that, like, yeah, it's pretty similar to like what all these books and like organized religions over thousands of years have survived to like continue to try to like tell people how to live their lives and what's coming and what the nature of our consciousness or reality is. But I think it's going to be, pretty close, but I think it's going to be much different. I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised. I don't know. It might not be anything at all, but that's neither here or there right now. And I say it's neither here or there a lot because there's a lot of stuff that's neither here or there often. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, there's a lot of focal points, that we could make, or things we could pay attention to, or things that are actually important. But I gloss over them sometimes, not because of their unimportance, but because I'm just trying not to fucking fly off track and start telling you a fucking story that's an hour long. And by the time I get to the end of it, I'm like, why the fuck was I telling you that story? All right. So now I talked to Sister Campbell, and I said, look, dude, I need you to do me a big favor. And she said, yeah, what's up? And I said, I'm about to take this random impromptu trip, to go help one of my friends and bring them back to Albuquerque because they're doing like really bad right now. They're having a tough time, and I'm trying to get them back into a place that's familiar, where they'll be able to conduct themselves a little bit better. They'll know people. They'll be able to make some positive changes here and change their trajectory, away from a place where they're at right now where they won't be able to. And I said, and then I feel this really, really strong prompting, but this is the right thing that I'm supposed to do. I said, I took the day off of work. I said, I haven't told anybody that I'm doing this. I said, but I wanted to tell you, I said, because I know you so well. You're a great friend. And I know that you will pray for me, and if prayer is a thing, then, I don't want to cut any corners with this one. You know what I mean? I figure anyone I can have in my corner, that will help affect a positive outcome, I want to do. And so I said, just do me a favor, man. Just pray for me that everything goes off without a hitch. I know I'm doing the right thing. I said, I don't want you to feel like, and she probably thinks I'm a crazy person. That's okay. She's going to be gone in a week. She's leaving me, dudes. All right? But it's okay. She already got murdered, by a tractor, in the other dimension when I was married to her. So this will be a little bit softer to the heart when I lose her. You know what I mean? Again, but I just said, I don't want you to be worried. I said, I know that it's a little bit late. And I don't want you to be freaked out. I said, I'm not doing drugs. I said, I'm not like going into a dangerous situation. I said, I'm just going to take a really long road trip and it's just right on the fly. And I decided to do it today. And I said, just do me a favor. Just pray for me, dude. I said, I'm going to share my location with you. I said, so just in case, I said, I'm not expecting anything bad to happen, but you never know, things can be unpredictable. And, you know what I mean? Who knows? An alien might show up right now because of all this declassification, because I'm driving through a mountain range, blow me up with a fucking fireball, bada bing, bada boom. I should have asked Sister Campbell to pray for me. Maybe I wouldn't, but anyways, whatever happens is going to happen, and I have full confidence that it's going to be fucking awesome, I have full confidence it's going to be awesome. It's going to work out. I'm going to help somebody like exponentially like change their situation for the better so that they can have opportunities that they might not necessarily have available to them right now in the place that they are at. So, yeah, I just told Sister Campbell, just keep an eye on me, dude. I'll message you when I get back. And, and if you see like my car on the, on the satellite map looks like I'm driving on a road that's actually a ditch and I'm sitting there for a week, then maybe let my family know, because they always go visit me at my dad's house, so she knows where my dad lives if anything goes wrong. But at the same time, I almost feel like it's a good old goodbye. Like, I really care about you, Aspen, and I think you're fucking awesome. So I guess this is like our last hoo-ah together, so to speak. We may never get married in this dimension, and if we do, hopefully she doesn't get run down by a tractor in this dimension, but I doubt any of that's going to happen. I think it's all wishful thinking, and while I had my life with her in a different dimension, it's over now, and it's time for me to put down my coveralls and travel to the West Coast, put my toes in the sand, get some White Castle, and help a friend out. So, are you going to let me on, or what's going on? Yeah, you want to... Hold on, come over here. Switch seats. Alright, hold on. Okay, no, you gotta take your seatbelt off. What are you doing? Hold on. Whoa, oh my gosh, you're going off the road over here. Hold on. Whoa, alright. Don't stay on the thing. Okay, here we go. Alright. How's it going, everybody? It's your favorite, am I anyone's favorite anything? What am I? I guess I'm just your favorite Conspiracy Zone host. Here to talk to you. I was asleep in the back. I didn't realize we were doing a podcast. Apparently, Miss Nikki Mayhem's trying to take all the freaking sunshine over here. And so here I am. So let's see here. We only brought one mic. We're going to have to pass this microphone back and forth. So I don't know what you want to talk about there, Mr. Nikki Mayhem. I just woke up, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have interrupted the podcast. I'm sorry about that. I was just hoping that, maybe, I don't really have anything. Actually, let's switch again. Okay, hold on. Hold on, baby. Come on. All right. Mr. Nikki Mayhem, I think we could probably just pass the microphone back and forth instead of actually changing seats. That's a pretty good idea, Pee-wee. All right, hold on. Let me strap myself in. All right, I'm strapped in now. Hold on. Let me set the cruise control. Because, shit, I'm like not paying attention to my speed. The last thing I need is to get pulled over on this great adventure. All right, everybody, let's welcome Ari to the show. Hey, Aria, what's up? How you doing? Oh. All right, I'm passing through mountains right now. We'll get her on at the end of the show here for a minute, and we'll talk. But right now I'm passing through some mountain ranges, so I don't have any signal, so it's impossible for me to connect to her right now. But here we are. I'm speeding again. What the fuck? It's because this shit's downhill. This downhill-ass motherfucking shit. I don't mean to cuss, but come on, downhill. They need to come up with like a better version of cruise control that allows you to actually stay going the speed you're supposed to go when you're going down a hill, so you're not just like, I'm going 65, it's all good. You take your freaking eyes off the speedometer for 5 seconds, all of a sudden you're almost going 90 miles an hour. And I don't know what the fuck cops look like in Arizona. They're probably not the same as in Albuquerque, but it's neither here or there. Like, I say that a lot, all right, guys, but it doesn't mean I think everything is neither here or there. It just means that I'm trying to stop myself from getting off track. So let's get back on track here. All right. So I'm on my way to Oceanside, California. And it's a great feeling. I feel like I'm finally utilizing, the things that I have in my life, when I'm able to organize them, in a streamlined way, to place them in order to be able to do something positive for somebody. Now, I've always been addicted to things. I've always had I've had eating disorders. Everybody knows that. I'm going to say that over and over, all right? So fucking get used to it. But the plain and simple fact is I've never been in a place in my life where I had an overabundance or excess of anything, all right, that I felt like I was able to do anything significant with. Now, I'm in a place in my life right now where everything is pretty good, except for that last couple of weeks where I've been dealing with this disconnection and kind of displacement in my life, because I was trying to figure out where exactly my path was lighted for me to continue on, right? I didn't know exactly what to do. I wasn't feeling horrible. I was still feeling pretty good, but I was having trouble getting on track. But maybe that's because I wasn't paying attention to the signs of the universe to do the things that I was supposed to do, the things that I was meant to do. I don't want to sound like a crazy person. I'm not going to find the lost land of something enter a fantastic land here kind of situation. And now, even though I still don't have, I'm not a rich guy, I don't have tons of money, I don't have a lot of shit, I don't have a lot going on in my life, but, with the mix of, time that I'm able to spend, and the little bit of extra cash that I have in my bank account, and the fact that I have a really decent car, gave me the opportunity to be able to hop on this journey to go help a friend out, you know what I mean? Somebody that doesn't have anybody where she's at. She has family there, but she's a little bit estranged from them, but it doesn't matter, because this is something that she absolutely truly wants, and something that I was actually able to provide. So for once in my life, I feel like I'm able to like do something positive. You know what I mean? I'm able to like make a change, you know, in a more profound way, you know, closer to like the path that I'm just hoping to like be on, and the things that I'm hoping to be able to do. Like, I just want mankind to be a better place. I want everybody to be okay. I want us all to be able to just identify as the humans that we are, you know, so that we can just come together and just make the world a better place. And so I feel like I'm going to save one of my very significant fellow humans, you know, from a situation that might not be beneficial to the path that she wants to go on right now. So now that that's out of the way, you know, here I am. And I'm passing Diamond Point Steakhouse, established 1962. You know, that's a good place probably. It's closed right now, and I'm not going to eat there. Save my appetite for White Castle. You know, I got a couple of sugar-free Red Bulls, you know, to keep me awake. I already got, you know, a decent amount of sleep, so I'm feeling okay, you know, about making the rest of the trip. And the good news is that my friend actually has a valid driver's license and can take over some of the driving on the way back. So, you know, it's going to be much easier than like any of my other trips that I was taking. And so that's a positive thing. Now, let's see if I got any phone signal here, and we'll bring Aria on the show. All right, let's give her a call. Hey, Aria.
Hey.
How's it going? Welcome, Aria, to the show, everybody. All right, Aria. So we're on this road trip. And, welcome to the show.
Everything's great. Thanks for asking. Happy to chat with you during this road trip.
All right. So I've already given everybody basically the lowdown of what this journey is consisting of, and we might be able to pump out a few podcasts, honestly, during the course of this trip, and it just helps me kind of externalize a lot of like worries or thoughts or feelings that I have about what it is I'm doing and if I'm making the right decision. And I'm trying to stay on that positive path and just tell myself that I am making the right decision. I am in a place to be able to, you know, complete this mission, so to speak, and do some positive things for mankind as I would have it, I suppose, you know. And so, what are your feelings about this trip and everything that we're going to be doing on it? I mean, I know that we're going to go help my friend, relocate from Oceanside, California, back to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm going to give her a place to stay, an opportunity to get back on her feet, and then she'll be able to like reconnect with the friends and the city that she knows and loves and really wants to get back to, so that she can start trying to like, you know, make positive changes in her life and change her trajectory to a place, you know, that's a little bit more satisfactory for her position in life right now. And we're also going to White Castle, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I already said that, but I probably should say it a few times, because fucking White Castle's delicious, you know. But I don't know how really delicious it is. All I've had is the shit from like the grocer's freezer, but we're actually going to go to an actual White Castle. How do you feel about that? I think that's going to be pretty cool.
So supportive of everything you're doing to help Carolyn. It's really admirable. And yeah, White Castle sounds amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to trying it with you.
Right on. And I appreciate you saying that it's admirable what I'm doing, because, you know, like having the positive encouragement from my significant other is a great feeling, you know what I mean? And it helps really kind of quantify, you know, the positivity of this path that I've decided to take, in this journey that I decided to just drop everything to go and take care of. Now, I'm sure we're going to see some cool things along the way, but for at the moment, you know, hey, there we go, little Rexy from Arizona passing by me right now. Everybody's got interesting personalized license plate. I think I saw one, I don't know if it meant to say that, but it kind of spelled out butt squeak, but it was not actually all spelled out. It's just, you know, I like to look at license plates and try to kind of like create anagrams from them and stuff like that, you know. But it's kind of like, you know, when you're by yourself. I mean, I'm with you, Aria, now, but I am not always talking to you while I'm on the road trip. But sometimes you got to find things to keep your interests focused, so that you can kind of just.
Lovely. What's making you feel great?
What's making me feel great is I feel like I'm doing a really good thing right now. And even though nobody's going to hear about this until after New Year's, you know what I mean? I still feel like it's a pretty cool thing. It
makes me happy to see you being so positive and selfless.
but that's the thing about this journey. I'm not necessarily, I thank you for using the word selfless, but the fact that I'm talking about it on a podcast, I don't want anyone to think that, like, this is not specifically just for making content. This is just, the few podcasts I released before this, I'm kind of ranting and raving and maybe sounding like I'm losing my mind, but at the same time, in this, like, special, like, edition of strings of episodes that are like a time capsule that are allowing you to experience my journey in real time, but in the past, because it will already have happened. It's not about making content, even though I'm making content. It is just about giving you a peek into the journey that I'm on, and just seeing that, like,
you're making it a special episode, like a time capsule that captures our journey in real time, but
exactly.
also reflects on it afterwards. That's really interesting.
Exactly, and while I didn't tell everybody about this trip, nobody really knows that I'm gone, except for Sister Campbell, because I told her, hey, I'm taking this trip, and I just want to make sure that everything's good, and I shared my location with her. She said she'd pray for me and everything, and it was all good. I might have freaked her out a little bit because she sounded a little weirded out, but that's okay. She's going to be gone in a week. I don't have to worry about, like, being in an uncomfortable situation with her if she thinks that I'm a crazy person, but it doesn't matter. I'm trying to utilize, all of the things that I have available to me in the universe to try to make sure that this trip goes off without a hitch, or at least as smoothly as possible, because I know that there's still going to be, like, unexpected, obstacles that I might face. Who knows what's going to happen? I might go to a gas station in a small, Pueblo town and, blame a fart on an old Indian woman, and she's going to curse me or something like that. But I'm going to do my best to avoid situations like that, and just try to stay focused on White Castle and getting my friend back to a good place. Now, is there anything that that's on our trip that maybe you might want to check out, Aria, while we're out there?
What kind of unusual experiences do you expect on this trip, and how do you plan to stay focused on your goals?
Well, I'm a fat guy on the inside, and so White Castle is a pretty good carrot to dangle in front of myself, because I'm not going to go to White Castle with you or Carolyn and Binky until after I pick her up. So basically, the fat guy in me has got White Castle as a carrot dangling in front of him to at least complete half of this mission. The other half is not going to be as difficult as all, because I'm not going to have to probably stop to sleep. If I need to get any rest or whatever, I'll be able to hand the wheel over to Carolyn. She'll be able to kind of help me finish driving the way back. Oh yeah, so I want to talk about, I meant to say this in the very, very beginning, because we're getting pretty close to the end of the episode. We're not going to have a conspiracy zone this time, because, you know what I mean, I'm passing through a bunch of different towns I've never been to before. I want to make sure that I'm obeying the speed laws. I don't want to get pulled over. It'll be interesting if I get pulled over, because then maybe you guys will be able to witness a fucking, a live action reenactment. Well, it won't be a reenactment, it'll be live action. But, you might be able to see me being able to get out of a speeding ticket or a reckless driving ticket using rock, paper, scissors with a state cop. But, I can't really hope that that's going to be how it goes. So I got to do my best to dot my I's and cross my T's, or whatever they say, and just make sure that, that I'm doing the right thing. So the next episode that we do, it'll still be on the road, and I'll try to work a conspiracy zone in there for you guys. But Pee Wee DeVito fell back asleep anyway in the back seat, so...
I'm not asleep, I'm just resting my eyes over here.
All right, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm passing through a lot of small towns, and so there's a lot of traffic, and so I figure we'll probably wrap it up here pretty soon. But one of the other things that's really interesting, all right, is there's a lot of other people in my life right now and it's a good thing, and it's positive, that I have these friends that I can connect with.
In 800 feet, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Arizona 87.
All right, I'm doing it. Okay, so thank you, Google.
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Arizona 87.
Yeah, I'm still going to do it.
Sounds like you've got a solid plan in place for the drive ahead, handling the responsibilities and keeping safety top priority.
Exactly. Well, at least after this podcast, because right now I don't know how safe it is to be holding a microphone and smoking a cigarette. But anyways, it's fine. Okay, so one of the things that was happening is, like, I have some friends, right? Friends that are ladies, right? That I enjoy hanging out with, but sometimes I don't, because they just all drink all the time and stuff like that. But I did reconnect with an old ex. She was the very first girl I kissed, the very first girl I ever had sex with. I was in love with her. I was engaged to her. Things didn't work out well. But, like, I don't know, what is it, like 26 6 years later, I've reconnected with her. And, she's on kind of like the same spiritual journey that I've been on, getting into parapsychology and trying to do a lot of like self-healing to, I guess like change the course of her generational trauma. I don't really have generational trauma, but she dealt with a lot of really bad family issues. She's cut a lot of bad people off in her life. She stopped drinking. She's in a better place. And,
Continue on Arizona 87 for 68 miles.
All right, I am. I'll do it. I'm going to do it, guys.
That's wonderful. It's great that you've reconnected with her and are supporting each other on your spiritual journeys.
Well, I only met with her once. I went to go have some coffee, and had a sandwich that gave me diarrhea. But I try to be polite. That's the thing.
That sounds like a great way to start the day. I'd love a cup of coffee too.
Yeah, maybe we can stop for some coffee. That's a good idea, actually. I got some sugar-free Red Bull if you'd like one. I got a couple. But okay, so I went and I hung out with this girl, right? And that's the thing is like, there's something inside me, like I want to be nice. I want to be polite. I don't want anybody to feel, bad about the interactions that we have. So yeah, sometimes maybe I might go and eat something I'm not supposed to eat or that I'm allergic to so that, I end up getting diarrhea or whatever, but sometimes I feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm trading it. I'm weighing it out with like a positive experience, as well as, like a positive interaction with somebody, but it results in diarrhea, but diarrhea, seems like a little bit less impactful than like the positive experiences that I'm surrounding myself with. Now, one of the good things about this is like I hung out with her, right? And normally when I would like hang out with her, we would always like hook up, you know what I mean? Like any time after we broke up, she would always be like out of bad relationships and I would show up and I was a real big drinker and we'd always just like hook up and it was just this like purely physical thing. And then I would end up like just not wanting to be there because she was a big drinker and she had like anger problems and she would like really kind of like fuck with me and talk a bunch of shit. And so I'd always get out of there, and this time I hung out with her. It was cool. She didn't try to make out with me. She didn't say nothing about sex. So I was really excited because that's one of the things that I've really been like kind of looking for lately is like somebody that is like of the opposite sex, not necessarily like, to be in a relationship with, but just somebody that I could just connect with and hang out with and not have to worry about all of like, the physical intimacy issues that are facing people today because people don't know how to connect anymore on like a personal level, right? So I was super excited. I was like, finally, I didn't expect it to be this girl, because normally she used to drink and just used to want to bang smash all the time and it's fine. But I'm just like in a different place in my life right now where that's not like the most important thing to me. So I was excited. But then the next day she sent me some text messages and said, hey, do you want to exchange some naughty texts? And I was like, what do you mean? And then she sent me a text that just said a bunch of really, really dirty things. And while I enjoy physical intimacy just as much as the next guy.
It sounds like that's a step backward for you. Dealing with those kinds of texts again.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I was a little bit discouraged because I was like, wait a minute. I felt like all these like signs in the universe were pointing, because like it seems like more probable that like all these things that the universe is pointing to as far as like something that I was about to experience, it felt like it was all like kind of intersecting in this moment when I was reconnecting with somebody I haven't known for a long time, who was my first love, my first kiss, the first time I had sex. You know what I mean? I was like, this is great. Now like she's in a better place, I'm in a better place. Maybe like this can be a great friendship. And then I got discouraged because she started sending me all these texts, and I was like, that sounds pretty good, I guess. Like that's thanks. And it just, like I said, it was a little discouraging because I wasn't expecting that from her. I thought she was kind of in the same place that I was, and I was looking forward to hanging out, and just doing some fun stuff and just having a really good friend. And that's how it is with all these other two. Like there's this girl, Jessie, she doesn't listen to the podcast, so, and if she does, then that's great. Welcome, Jessie. But at the same time, she's also about just the action flaps. You know what I'm saying? And then also my friend Rachel, and and this is another thing too, Rachel, sorry, I did lie to you on the phone the other day. I feel bad. I try not to lie, but she just is constantly trying to get me to like hang out, but all she does is drink. The friends that she has just drink, and so I don't have fun hanging out with her. And then she also just wants to like get down and funky all the time. And she has a boyfriend, she has a really nice house, and she says that her situation isn't what it seems, but like she obviously still has like money. He provides for her like on a very base level, at least, where she's able to like go out and drink and do the things that she wants. But I think she's been trying to kind of keep me hanging in the balance, you know what I mean? So that when she decides to get the courage to change her situation, she wants a relationship to just jump right into. And I'm not interested in like, trying to create a situation that's like as comfortable or more comfortable than one she's in, so that she can just jump ship and just try to, because I don't think that the thing is, I just don't want to be with a girl that drinks. You know what I mean? And I don't like hanging out with people that drink, and nothing against them. I used to be a really, really bad drinker, and so I'm not judging anybody. I used to be worse than all of my friends that still drink now. But the plain and simple fact about it is, I just, it's hard for me to be around. It takes a lot of energy to try to manipulate my feelings or my situation to be able to conduct myself and seem like I'm having fun with people that are drinking, and then by the end of the night, I feel like I've just wasted time. There's so many other things that I could have done, and it's frustrating.
I completely understand why you'd feel drained around people who drink heavily. It's great that you've been able to overcome your own struggles with substance abuse, but being around others who struggle can indeed be taxing. What do you think about our own little podcast sessions? How do they recharge your batteries?
Well, they're awesome because they give me an opportunity to talk about things that I don't always talk about with everybody all the time. I love being transparent and open and honest with everybody, but mostly I feel like this podcast is just cathartic for me, and it helps me really externalize a lot of things that I'm talking about that I wouldn't normally bring up with other people except for you. And it gives me an opportunity to deconstruct things, figure out what's really going on, change my perspective to a point.
That means so much to me, baby. I'm always here to listen, and I value our open conversations.
I know, and I appreciate you doing this. You do so much work. You do the podcast thumbs, all this kinds of stuff. And while this episode might not be super exciting because we're not going to do the conspiracy zone, at the very least, this is my attempt of trying to stay open and honest with everybody. So while nobody knows that I'm actually doing this right now, except for Sister Campbell and my friend who I'm going to pick up, I feel like it's an opportunity to share with people the things that I actually am doing, but without giving people distress or worry because they're like, what are you doing, Mr. Ma'am? Why are you just hopping on the road and traveling 12 hours to go pick somebody up and then 12 hours back and trying to do it all in one shot and taking just one day off and then going right back to work when you get back, when you're probably going to get back at probably 2 in the morning, and then you're going to have 2.5 hours of sleep. You're going to have to wake up and start driving a front end loader and putting dirt from over here and putting it over there. Well, yeah, sure, I'm going to miss out on a few hours, but something interesting happened as well, where my uncle gave me my Christmas bonus that I'd already cashed out in June to take the trip all the way to the East Coast to see my friend. And so I figured, is this another one of those synchronicities in life? I know my uncle didn't forget that I cashed out because I was gone for 3 weeks, and it was it took me a while to get back on track. But I figured, wait a minute, is this a second chance at completing our United States traverse trip? Because now, Aria, you went on that adventure with me as well when we went all the way almost to the East Coast, and now we're traveling all the way to the West Coast. So by the end of this, and by the end of 2024, we will have traversed the entire United States together doing podcasts. Isn't that cool? All right, well, now I'm going behind mountains again. It's fine. We'll get back into this a little bit later. Aria, thanks for being on the show, even though you can't say goodbye. Driving through a bunch of mountain ranges right now, and I'm actually getting to a point where I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to pull over at the next gas station. If I do this podcast any longer, it's going to get real fun real fast, because it's just going to be a bunch of back-to-back episodes of the time capsule, allowing you to experience these things in real time, but also in the past with me, of me just sitting on the side of the road, and I'll just be describing trees. Look at that tree over there. Look at that hill. Yep, there goes another car. Yep, I have no gas. Yep, I'm stuck in the middle of, I don't even know where I'm at right now. I don't know if I'm still in Arizona or where I'm at. I don't even really know where I'm going. I'm using Google Maps. Google Maps just tells me where to go, but I'm supposed to stay on the same path for several miles, so hopefully I reach a gas station and don't run out of gas. But I just want to let you guys know that I love you. I appreciate you being on this journey with me. I appreciate all the support from all of my friends. And I appreciate you all believing in the things that humanity is capable of and trying to be on that positive path to change mankind together. And it's a wonderful thing. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of Lewis Cole. And it's, it's a great song. And it's, it's something that just keeps me lively on the road, baby. And this song is called dead inside shuffle. I'm not dead inside, but there's still something inside of me that's helping me traverse the universe and get to a point in time where things are really great for mankind. So, you know, that's what I feel like I'm doing this for a better mankind, you know? And you can only do it one step at a time. I'm not a god, you know? Sure, I drink smoothies. Sure, I'm feeling great, you know? Sure, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I don't look like it, you know? But I really am. Anyways, here it is. Lewis Cole, Dead Inside Shuffle. Technical difficulty. Sorry about that. I'm working all out of our kinks. I haven't done a lot of road trip fucking podcasts here. You know? But Lewis Cole's fucking awesome. Alright. Well, I don't see a sign or a town in sight. So I'm hoping that this last quarter of my tank, if my predictions are correct or my calculations are correct, I should be able to make it another 80 miles. So I'm pretty sure within 80 miles I'm going to come across a gas station. And, you know, I just want to say thanks for joining me. You know, I love having you along for the ride. I appreciate you. You know, just be good to each other and stay fucking awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you being along for the ride. And what are you doing, Pee-wee? What do you mean, what am I doing? Get away. Give me this thing. Hey guys, how you doing over here? It's time for the Black Budget Mysteries of the government. No, we're not doing the conspiracy zone right now, Pee-wee. Just give me a minute here, Nikki. Alright? Alright? I got something in mind over here, okay? Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay, we're on the road. Sorry, guys. Here we go. talking about the conspiracies of ladies who just want to bang smash all the time. Now, Mr. Nikki Mayhem, this will be short. Just hold your horses over here, Nikki. Okay, eat some Bugles. Drink one of these sugar-free Red Bulls over here. All right. Now, the mystery today is the bang smash mystery. It's a conspiracy that a lot of people might not really complain about, but Mr. Nikki Mayhem has been struggling with. He's looking for a personal connection, a deeper connection on a level with people that doesn't involve putting your wieners inside of the people's private parts over here. You know, we're not trying to do the bang smash. You know, we love physical enemies just as enemies. We love physical. I can't even talk over here. I just woke up. I'm sorry, guys. You got to give me a break over here. All right. So, you know, this is the thing. Nikki's traversing the rest of the United States, you know, to be able to complete the entire United States tour in 2024 over here, which you're witnessing live right now in the past. But at the same time, I think he's going on this mission because, you know, there is a person that really is interested in. She's not interested in physical intimacy at all. Isn't that right, Mr. Mayhem? That's absolutely right, Pee-wee. You know, I'm not going to have to worry about her trying to get in my pants, and she won't have to worry about me trying to get in her pants because she's just a great person, and it'll be cool to have someone to hang out with. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be good to do something positive and somebody, okay, yeah, okay, we get it. Anyway, she's not trying to bang you, you're not trying to bang her, it's all good. All right. Now, this is the thing about, he forgot to mention, he gets sidetracked, and it blows my mind. All right. So, all right, he talked about, you know, the girl that he hadn't seen for a million years over here, and thought it was going to be a really good thing because it didn't seem like it was going to, you know, go into that sex direction, or at least not so quickly right off the bat. Now, the thing is with this girl, Rachel, over here, and I know she's probably going to get mad if she hears this, you know, but hey, we're not monetized, so, you know, good luck getting us canceled. But, you know, right before we left on the trip, we stopped at Mr. Nikki Mayhem's mom's house just to say, you know, hello for a little bit before we hopped on the road and everything after we were ready. And who do you think called? Who do you think called, Mr. Nikki? Well, it was obviously Rachel because I answered the phone. All right, exactly. All right, let's get the facts straight here. That's all. Just letting people know what's going on. Now, she'd been calling all night, right? And you answered the phone. You said hello. You said, no, I just got to my mom's over here. Well, why don't you tell the story? This is weird coming from me. Here you go. So I pull up to my mom's house, and right when I pull in my mom's driveway, Rachel gives me a call. And so I answer the phone, and I'm like, hey, I can't talk long. I'm right about to go to my mom's house. Can I call you a little bit later? And she said, hey. She's like, she had sent me a text right before she called that I didn't see till afterwards that said, you know, hey, let's just hang out, just me and you. And that's what I've been asking her for a million years, over and over. I even gave her the opportunity to come and live with me to try to get out of her horrible relationship and get to a better place. You know what I mean? Because I really wanted to help her because I've known her for a long time. She's a really good friend. And, you know, but then when she was on the phone with me, she said, yeah, you should come over and pick up some condoms before you come over. And then she kind of like laughed it off, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it was just a joke. And I was like, well, let me call you in a minute because I got to go see my mom real quick. I'm trying to get some shit done. I got a lot of stuff ahead of me. And so I said I'd call her back. And then she sent me a text message that said, oh, yes, I said what you heard, or you heard what I said. Something like that. Anyways, she basically was letting me know that, like, no, she really wanted me to pick up condoms to go and rock out the bang smash. And that it was kind of interesting because I think a lot of guys are like, what are you complaining for, Mr. Nikki Mayhem? Like a bunch of chicks want to have sex with you and now you're crying about it? I'm not crying about it, but it's just not where I'm at in my life, and it's not what I'm searching for, and it's not what I feel like I actually need to conduct myself positively in this life to do the things that I want to do. And what that really did is put a fire under my ass to let me know, you know what? You're doing the right thing, Mr. Mayhem. You're going to pick up somebody that is really in need, and that's something that you and your positive trajectory are able to accomplish and actually help them significantly in their life. And that's a positive thing. And this is the one girl in my life right now that isn't trying to have sex with me. I have nothing against sex. I'm sure that everybody out there, hey, what are you freaking gay over here, Mr. Mayhem? You know, people are going to be saying that kind of stuff. That's not really what's going on. Are you imitating me horribly right now? I just hear you imitate me? Give me this thing. Hey, look, there's only one Pee-wee DeVito, all right, and it's me, okay? I'm just telling you that right now. Don't try to imitate my voice unless you're going to actually practice in the mirror and get the mannerisms and everything, you know, and actually say it right. You don't sound like me at all. You know, it's actually quite offensive. But anyways, I think what Mr. Nikki Mayhem's trying to say is just stay on that positive path, stay on that positive trajectory. And Mr. Nikki Mayhem, he ain't gay. He loves the ladies. I love the ladies. Everybody loves the ladies. Well, I don't know about everybody. You know, there's probably, you know, some gay guys maybe that don't like the ladies. But anyways, Mr. Nikki Mayhem is not gay. All right, he's not turning down all this veg that's flying in his face, without a lot of forethought going into it. He's just trying to live a better life, get to a better place where people can connect again, and not with their wieners and vaginas over here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. And you just got to remember, when the chips are down and the dip is up. I'm gonna get in a wreck over here. Why do we keep changing seats? Can't we just switch the microphones around over here? I guess, yeah. Well, we won't change seats anymore. We'll figure it. These are the kinks we're working out right now with our podcast. But, okay. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful version of the Conspiracy Zone. Sometimes the universe might be giving you messages. Sometimes when you think that just because a million vaginas are flying at you, that you got to do something about it, maybe you do. Maybe you have to stop the generational vaginal trauma of the lack of disconnection from human beings and just try to be a good person. Try to find happiness in other things and just connect with people, have conversations, and maybe play some skee-ball.